Hi everyone, welcome to the first edition of Explorin' with George. Okay, so a lot of you out there know by now that I've moved to the San Diego metro area, to El Cajon. Every once in a while I like to take the trolley into San Diego, and I am now getting to the point where I can go ahead and come out here and film and take pictures of the beautiful San Diego waterfront. I'll eventually be going later on in the series over to the gas lamp quarter. I'll be going over to further into downtown. But today I'm enjoying the beautiful August morning, the morning of Saturday, August 10th, 2019. Behind me is the train station. Pacific Surfliner looks like they're taking on passengers. And so I'm going to be working first with this series called Explorin' with George, where I'm really going out and I'm trying to just get an idea of where I live now. Moving from Jacksonville, Florida to the San Diego metro area has been something else. So I want to be able to bring you the best, as I've promised, particularly in social media. I've promised to bring you the best of California. And there's nowhere better to start than where California begins. San Diego, California, in the 250th anniversary of the city. So there's a lot to bring you. So I'll be doing this in a more of a format of just kind of getting out there and seeing what's out there and bringing it to you. And then later on, Explorin' with George will become a history series, an urban archaeology series. But first, I have to get to know my new home. And so that's going to take a while. As many of you who followed my experiences in Jacksonville, there's a lot. There's a lot for me to learn. And as I continue to build out my skills as an urban photographer and filmmaker. So much to bring you. So I'm going to be booked for the next 20, 25 years. So let's get started, shall we? And now it's time on this channel, from the San Diego metro area, from just off Pacific Highway, just down from the Amtrak station, in this beautiful state of California, just to tell you, let's roll it. Our exploration of San Diego's bayfront begins, for me, at El Cajon Sequin Station, where I boarded an Orange Line trolley. Round trip, it was $5, $2.50 each way. It's amazing how beautiful, just even starting out in El Cajon, it is. And so I took the trolley and I spanned the distance from El Cajon into San Diego. And so there are a lot of different sights to see. And here we see La Mesa. We'll cross a couple freeways on this journey, and then we start heading into downtown. After passing Lemon Grove and some other areas, we start to see apartment buildings and condominiums. We go down the middle of Commercial Street. I want to do a lot of exploration. This is approaching 12th and Imperial, the 12th and Imperial trolley station. And it gives you some insight into where I was sitting. And now here, this caught my eye. Beautiful California architecture. You know, I'm from Florida. I spent all my life up to towards the end of May in Florida. And here, it's amazing how beautiful San Diego is. And I noticed that there are several Jack in the Box restaurants around downtown. I want to check them out. Now, this really caught my eye. The YWCA building. Amazing. I think I want to check it out even further. Maybe I'll do an in-depth show that includes it one of these days. Look at the intricate doorway. Reminds me of Balboa Park. Back in February, I visited Balboa Park. It was one of the many reasons that prompted me to move here to San Diego. So this is a chance for me really to get out and to see as much of the city as possible. And I can do it very conveniently. Now here's another place. I didn't quite get an idea
of what this place was, but I want to find out more. A lot of these things I'm seeing, these places I'm seeing, are prompting me for what you'll see as future episodes of Exploring with George, or ultimately the History series. Now, here we see the Superior Court building. The Superior Court for California has this amazing building, and when I got off the trolley, I was just amazed. Getting off at Courthouse Station, I crossed the street, and it's really neat because, again, I'm from Florida and from Jacksonville. So this whole thing is something I feel like Caveman Lawyer, if you remember the 1980s episodes of Saturday Night Live. All of this I I don't know what to make of it all. But look at this beautiful, beautiful courts building. Fascinating. So after admiring the Superior Court building, I happened to encounter some protesters that were protesting President Trump's immigration policy. It's been incredibly divisive, and I expressed my support. I helped to get more involved in San Diego metropolitan politics, and so all of this going on, what an amazingly vibrant city. And so I had the opportunity to walk further down the street towards the Amtrak station, and here we see one of the red trolleys, and we see a station where the trolley curved into the station, and we have so I've walked out towards the Amtrak station, and there's kind of a neat little guidepost area, great for selfies. And some unique things. And so I get towards the station and I check out walking by it, I can look into and see the waiting room area. Very historic rail station. And so I got myself a nice selfie. Amazing architecture. I think it's one of the big attracting points I have is that I'm going to be able to bring you some neat views of California's amazing architecture. And we see a trolley. We see a multi-use aspect to the Amtrak station. So I walk further down towards the San Diego City County Administration building, and eventually I'll have more on that, I'm sure, down the road. And I was so attracted to the sailboat, the Star of India sailboat, sporting a mast, San Diego 250, celebrating the 250th anniversary of San Diego, where California begins. And I actually filmed a Facebook Live video from this area. This is just off Waterfront Park. And so you can look back, taking one last view of the administration building and seeing everyone gathered. It's just such a unique, a great, fun Saturday morning. And I got a selfie, and with the administration building, looks like some people behind me there. And as I approached the bayfront, I got a chance to see the ferry from Coronado Island pulling into its slip just off Broadway Pier. And we're now going to go into some video that I took of the USS Midway Museum, eventually down the road, most likely into a history series that I'm developing. I'll be able to bring you more. I want to get on to the Midway and film. So that's going to come down the road. So I have so much to bring you. And it's unique because of where I was actually standing to film this was somewhat of a confined space. And there was talk I saw on the news last night about how they had committed to build a park in this area but hadn't gotten around to it. And this place would be ideal for a park, kind of a grassy approach to the museum. And I think it would be more convenient for people and in some ways safer, easier approaches for people both to approach the museum and to film and to take in the sights, which is exactly what the Bayfront has been designed to do. And as we look at this just amazing museum, just simply from from the Embarcadero and zooming in, and pardon my camera work. I mean, it's stunning. It's amazing. And I guess this is the point in the show where I want to talk with you a little bit more about why I moved to San Diego. And now in Jacksonville has a nice riverfront area it's going through some changes. When I initially visited San Diego in February of this year, I found that I wanted more out of life. When you live a life, and you live a long one, you want more. And North Florida wasn't positioned to provide me what I wanted. Southern California, namely San Diego, is providing me the experiences, and I could go on and on and on. And I don't think there's a show that could go on long enough to tell you why I moved here. And it's been something I've wanted to do for a very long time. I even wanted to back in 2004 when I first visited California. But the death of my father, that cut that dream aside for a while. I inherited a very large house. Ultimately, I sold the house this year. And so here I am. And I have so much to bring you. And you get such a great breeze off the bayfront. It actually reminded me in some ways of Key West, of driving down the overseas highway towards Key West. You get this fresh breeze coming off the bay. And here I am on the West Coast now. And in the distance we see the Coronado Bridge, which just recently celebrated its 50th anniversary, built in 1969 to connect the mainland with Coronado Island. Coronado Island, it featured rather prominently on February 22nd, Friday, February 22nd, 2019, when I ultimately decided it was time for me to work towards moving out of North Florida and moving here. I had taken the ferry, I went across to the island, I walked around, then I came back. I got off the ferry. I had spent a lot of time on the Embarcadero that day, and ultimately I had a dinner at a nice high-scale restaurant place called the Fish Market, and got some great views of the bay as I was enjoying my meal. And life, you have to get as much out of life as you can. And so I'm working this year to build the structure, the infrastructure, the capabilities for a great life here in the San Diego metro area. And we see the Navy base across the area. You see a lot of boating, a lot of recreation. There's recreation everywhere. I could just pan the camera and see so many people having so much fun in different ways. And so you get a lot. This is looking from Seaport Village. And you see the hotels in the distance. That's the Marriott. There is elsewhere there's a Hilton, Embassy Suites, a lot of different places. Restaurants, shops, vendors. There's even a carousel further in to the village. Really, again, you can go out and have some fun and do it very efficiently. Here I am with the bonehead. So much fun that I had on Saturday, August 10th. And so it was time to start heading back home towards El Cajon. And as I looked over, I could see such an amazing infrastructure that was built. And if you look at the trolley lines and how they parallel, and it's obvious that the people of San Diego for many years have worked on building a great community. And so I've come out here to California, and I use that phrase, I've come out here to California. I have come out here to California, because I used to live in Jacksonville, right? I've come out here to create. I've come out here to do. I've come out here to tell stories and to to become more active. It's incredibly walkable here. I can do more here. So I think we'll just kick back and save the world, and I'll work on creating some great shows for you. Please stay tuned. The best is yet to come here on this channel and throughout the Left Turn Network, throughout social media. I want to be able to bring you, first, more stories about downtown San Diego and then going to different places. I'm thinking La Jolla, San Ysidro, Lake Murray in La Mesa, all sorts of places. And as I said earlier, my filming schedule is just, it's booked. There's just so much for me to bring you, and I hope that you're enjoying it. Please let me know what you think. Please subscribe, and let's see where things go from here. Stay tuned later on this year for more Exploring with George. Take it easy. See you later.